Good morning and welcome to Friday Focus on Friday the 16th of April. I'm doing this today as Richard is on his Easter break. On Monday we had our monthly prayer meeting via Zoom. Rod Pellereau led us in information about Youth for Christ in Cheltenham. Paul Chesworth made us aware of the prayer needs for Saturday Kitchen. And I encourage us to think and pray about how we're all feeling at this point in the pandemic. So first of all, Youth for Christ. They've had a challenging year and faced some changes. Over the last year, Christian Union schoolwork has sadly collapsed, and they had to cancel their weekend away, and fundraising has been difficult. They have been able to keep their church-based youth groups going, along with Rock Solid and training for young leaders. They've been able to go into schools to mentor troubled pupils. They've introduced online recorded assemblies for primary schools and held some inquirers groups. By becoming involved in the online gaming community, they have been doing some evangelism there. They have a job seekers mentoring scheme in place and have been asked to lead the youth work for the West Cheltenham team. So their prayer points. For thanks and praise that their finances have held up, that they've embraced new opportunities and acquired new skills. They have 3 new trustees, and their prayer requests are for schoolwork to start again, enhancement of the work they're doing through the gaming community, for more people to join the job seekers mentoring scheme, for the work with the West Cheltenham team to go well, for their fundraising efforts to be successful, also for renewed energy for the team as they plan a weekend away in 2022, and that there will be new staff to be with them in the coming year. Saturday Kitchen's prayer points were thanks and praise for answered prayer, with Saturday Kitchen being well financed and well staffed with volunteers. Also thanks for the regular guests who come each week. Thanks too for David Warren and the gifts he has as he gets to know each of our guests and builds relationships with them. Prayer requests are for our guests who have so numerous and complex difficulties, that we may be wise in our help offered and the advice we give, that we can share God's hope and love with them in our conversations. We'd also like prayer for the team as they plan how to offer hospitality in the building of St Matthew's, and that they can be watchful of where God is working and how we can increase the evangelistic side of this ministry. As we follow the roadmap out of lockdown, many people are feeling worn thin and exhausted. So many people have been traumatised by the events of the last year. While we've all been in the same storm, we have not all been in the same boat. Some have been in cruise liners, others yachts, some in canoes, others clinging to lilos. We're all going through this time with different pressures and troubles. People feel overwhelmed by the sheer numbers involved, those who've died, the bereaved, those who have long-term health problems following having COVID, and the limitations that have been placed on all of our lives. The lockdowns tend to push us inwards, focusing on our own suffering and distress. However, God calls us out of ourselves to compassionate service. He demonstrated his abundant compassion and love by laying down his life for the sake of the world. And at its root, compassion means to suffer with. We're called to reach out and walk along beside others as we face the next phase of this pandemic. So a few of the people we could pray for: the elderly who've been isolated, the young who've not had their usual social contacts, new parents who haven't had the usual network of support groups, the bereaved, those who are without work or have businesses that have collapsed in the pandemic, and for the countries that don't have access to a vaccine. These are just a few of the suggestions I've made for those who need our prayers at this time. Please take these prayer points into your prayer time throughout the coming month. Thank you. Goodbye.